Your life today, the reality you're living, is just a projection. A seemingly real projection of what your mind has created over the years. Everything that exists in a person's life, whether good or bad, existed first in their mind. Your mind works like a movie projector. The film playing inside is the exact film being projected outside. Before it happens out there, everything happens in here first. The other day, a longtime friend was telling me about a phone call he had with his brother. They talk almost every day, but his brother is someone who has an enormous difficulty succeeding. His mind is filled with every limiting belief about money you can imagine. He's extremely creative, extremely intelligent, the kind of potential most people don't have. But because of a series of traumas he went through over the years, he built a protective wall against money. To him, money is negative, harmful. Marketing is just manipulation. Selling is lying, he says. He holds this belief so strongly that in their last call, he said he doesn't even care anymore if he never makes it, that it's not even what he wants, that it's just not a priority. And that's fine, right? It's okay if prosperity isn't a priority for you. But let's dig deeper. To prosper means to grow, to develop, to learn new skills, to share your knowledge with others, to earn income that moves the economy, to create jobs, to help those in need. Prosperity is literally a blessing. So why am I telling you this story? Because even though he says he doesn't want to prosper, he constantly complains that he doesn't have money to do the things he loves, to travel more, to start a family, to live somewhere more comfortable, to help his parents. So no, it's actually not okay to not prosper. The person just created that belief as an internal defense mechanism, a rationalization, often because they don't feel capable or they don't feel worthy.
Here's the truth. Every prosperity problem is a self-esteem problem. There's a deep wound in the person's self-worth, and that wound can have two origins. Either the person doesn't feel deserving of having something, that internal sense of unworthiness, the classic case of someone afraid of being exposed as a fraud, imposter syndrome. Or there's the second origin, the feeling of incapability. The person doesn't feel capable of learning, growing, and doing what needs to be done. Low self-esteem by itself is one of the worst frequencies a human being can vibrate at. And look, everything is frequency. Everything is vibration. You attract every person, every situation, everything through your vibrational level. It's literally like tuning into a radio station. The question is, which station are you tuned into? Every human being's frequency is basically the combination of four internal pillars: your beliefs, your emotions, your communication, and your actions or behavior. I call this the Bika framework: beliefs, emotions, communication, action. If your Bika is set to negative, your frequency is low. And if your frequency is low, your results are guaranteed to be negative, poor. You're certainly not thriving financially, or your relationships aren't thriving. There's no other possible outcome if limiting beliefs from old traumas exist, if there's emotional imbalance, if the person doesn't communicate well with others, or even with themselves, and if the person has no power of action, if they're a procrastinator. In the Bika framework, one thing pulls the other. If you don't work on your beliefs, if you don't have a strong mind, you'll be at the mercy of your emotions. Consequently, you'll communicate in a reactive way, an unbalanced way, and you'll freeze your actions. You won't be able to put anything into practice. Or you'll start building something and quit halfway when the first difficulty appears.
Or you won't act at all. You'll spend your whole life planning and planning, waiting for the perfect moment to act, never actually getting your hands dirty. Or you'll be in the worst scenario, settling for stagnation and accepting it as your life, which is exactly the story I told you at the beginning. So that's why I chose to make this video, to teach you how to create a frequency so strong that reality seems to obey you. Actually, it doesn't just seem to, it does obey you. You think and you create. think, and create. This is possible, and I'm going to show you how. The first thing you need to understand is that reality is an emanation of the mind. And this isn't just my idea. There was a philosopher who lived over 1800 years ago named Plotinus. He was the founder of Neoplatonism, a philosophical school that deeply influenced Western thought and even Jungian psychology. Plotinus taught that all of reality emanates from a single source he called the One. Think of it like this. Imagine a spring at the top of a mountain. From that spring, water flows. It divides into rivers, streams, lakes. The water changes form, temperature, speed, but it's still the same water, still coming from the same source. For Plotinus, we are like that water. We are emanations of a single creative consciousness, and our individual mind, it's just a drop from that infinite source. Why is this knowledge so important for anyone who wants to change their reality? Because if you are an extension of a creative source, you are also a creator. It's not something you need to earn, it's not something you need to deserve. It's your nature. You already are this. The question is, are you operating in accordance with that nature or against it? Plotinus said that the problem with human beings isn't that we're disconnected from the source. That would be impossible. The problem is that we forgot we're connected.
And this forgetting, this partial disconnection from our true nature, is what creates our low frequency. It's what makes a person vibrate in scarcity, in fear, in limitation. Because when you forget that you're part of something infinite, you start believing you're small, limited. Now pay attention to this. Plotinus also argued that material reality, everything you see, touch, experience, is the last layer of manifestation, the densest point of emanation. Before something exists in the physical world, it first existed as a thought, as an intention, as a frequency. First in the One, the creative source of everything, then in the universal mind, then in the soul, and only then in matter. In other words, 1800 years ago, a philosopher was already saying what I told you at the beginning of this video. Before it happens out there, everything happens in here first. The difference is that Plotinus wasn't talking about a manifestation technique. He was describing the structure of the universe itself. It's not that you can create your reality if you learn the right method. It's that you're already creating your reality every single second. The question is whether you're creating consciously or unconsciously, whether you're creating from your highest essence or from your wounds, your traumas, the beliefs that other people placed in your mind. And here's something important from Plotinus. The path back to the source, the path to recovering your conscious creative power, doesn't consist of adding anything external. It consists of removing, taking away layers of illusion, of conditioning, of false beliefs that make us forget who we really are in essence. This is exactly the work of Bika. When you reprogram a limiting belief, you're not adding something new. You're removing a lie that was blocking your connection to your true essential frequency.
When you balance your emotions, you're not creating something artificial. You're clearing the channel so your natural energy can flow. It's a work of removal, not construction. Think of your mind as a mirror. The natural function of a mirror is to reflect light perfectly. But if the mirror is covered in dust, dirt, stains, it will distort everything it reflects. The light keeps arriving, the source never stops emanating, but the reflection comes out distorted. Your limiting beliefs are the dirt on the mirror. Your unresolved traumas are the stains. The inner work is simply cleaning the mirror. And when the mirror is finally clean, the reality you project is clear, powerful, because there's no more interference between who you really are and what you're creating. You don't create based on who others made you believe you are. You create based on who you really are. Your true self is finally revealed. Plotinus called this process epistrophe, which means the return to the source, the return to your true nature. And he said this return doesn't happen through rational thought alone. It happens through a complete inner transformation, a purification of the soul. You know what's interesting? He described this process almost 2,000 years ago. And it's exactly what we do when we work on the 4 pillars: beliefs, emotions, communication, action. It's not just changing what you think, it's transforming who you are on every level. It's cleaning every layer of the mirror.
And when you do this, something magical happens. You stop trying to create your reality, and you simply become the frequency that naturally attracts what you desire. Because you're no longer fighting against your own nature. Now you're flowing with it. All right. I think you understand now that external reality is a reflection of the internal mind. That's the first big step to creating a frequency so strong that reality obeys.
The second step is eliminating resistance and attachment. You know that person who's tight with money, who wants to save on everything, who suffers to pay for anything, who lives as if everything could end at any moment? I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about people who hold on to everything. They hold on to affection, afraid to love too much and lose. They hold on to opportunities, sitting on the fence because they're afraid to choose wrong. They hold on to words. They don't say what they feel because they're afraid of the reaction. They hold on to life itself. They don't truly live because they're afraid something will go wrong. This fear of losing, of letting go, of saying goodbye, it has a name: attachment. The person lives as if the universe were a limited place, as if there were a finite amount of money, love, opportunities, happiness, as if letting go of what they have means they'll never get it again. But the rule of the game is exactly the opposite. Let go, and it comes back. Hold on, and you lose it. Life freezes. Money stops circulating. Relationships suffocate. Opportunities stop appearing. Why? Because the person is so busy holding on to what they have that there's no space left to receive anything new. It's like having both hands closed, gripping with all your strength the little you have, and the universe wants to give you something bigger, something better, but you can't receive it. Your hands are occupied, closed. Over 2,500 years ago, a Chinese sage named Lao Tzu wrote one of the most powerful texts in human history, the Tao Te Ching. If we could summarize the essence of that marvelous text in a single word, that word would be flow. Lao Tzu taught that there's an invisible force that permeates the entire universe. He called this source the Tao, which can be translated as the way.
The Tao is the natural flow of life. It's the intelligence that makes the sun rise, that makes a seed become a tree, that makes your heart beat without you having to think about it. The Tao is the order behind the apparent chaos. And what was Lao Tzu's great teaching? Don't fight, don't hold, don't resist. He said that water is the softest element in nature, and yet it wears down the hardest stone. The flexible defeats the rigid. The soft defeats the hard. Water holds on to nothing. Water flows, and that's why it's the most powerful element in nature. Now come with me. What's the opposite of flowing? Holding, gripping, freezing. And what makes a person hold, grip, freeze? Fear. Fear of losing. Fear of not having it again. Fear of not being enough. And this fear has a technical name I want you to remember: resistance. Every time you hold on too tight, you're resisting the natural flow of life. You're telling the universe, I don't trust you. I don't trust that there will be more for me. I need to hold on to this because if I let go, it's over. And that's a clear communication with the universe, with God, whatever you choose to call this force. It's a clear communication that you don't trust it, that you don't trust life, that you don't trust yourself. And contrary to what many people think, this unified force is not punitive. It won't punish you for this. It will simply respond at the same frequency. If your frequency is scarcity, fear, there won't be more. Guess what you'll attract? Exactly that. Situations that confirm there isn't enough, because you're vibrating at that frequency. Buddha, another Eastern master, said a phrase that sums up all human suffering. The root of all suffering is attachment. Attachment to what? To what you have, to what you want, to how things should be in your head, to how people should act. Attachment to people themselves, to relationships, to situations.
And what is attachment in practice? It's resistance to flow. That relationship that's already over but you keep holding on, attachment. That job that's making you sick but you won't leave out of fear, attachment. That money you won't invest, won't spend, won't move because you're afraid of losing? Attachment. And here's the key I want you to remember. Attachment is resistance. Resistance blocks the flow. Block the flow, frees life. The opposite is also true. You let go, you eliminate resistance. Eliminate resistance, life flows better. Flow better, frequency rises. Raise frequency, reality changes. Now, this doesn't mean being irresponsible. It doesn't mean spending everything, quitting everything, abandoning everything. Taoism doesn't teach irresponsibility. It teaches trust in the flow. It teaches what Lao Tzu called Wu Wei, action without effort. Action that flows naturally because it's in harmony with the moment. Think of a river. The river doesn't hold on to the water. Water comes, passes, and goes. And that's exactly why the river is always full, because it lets it flow. If the river tried to hold on to every drop that passes, it would become a swamp, stagnant water, water that rots. Your life works the same way. Money needs to circulate, love needs to circulate, energy needs to circulate. When you hold on, you turn your life into a swamp. When you let it flow, you become a river, always full, always in movement, always alive. And how do you do this in practice? First, you identify where you're holding on too tight, what you're holding, where the fear of losing is, what your fears are, where the origin of the closed hand is. Is it in money, in relationships, in control over situations? Do you want to control everything? Your opinions, your time? Do this analysis. What are you holding on to, and why? Second, you investigate the belief behind it. Why do you hold on? What do you believe will happen if you let go?
For example, if I spend, there won't be more. If I open up, I'll suffer. If I trust, they'll disappoint me. These beliefs are the root of resistance. Third, you have to practice letting go. You have to completely release the need for a specific result. You need to release the fear, release the attachment. But how do I do that? It's a process, and this is where Becca comes in. Your limiting beliefs about scarcity are forms of resistance. For example, some limiting beliefs about money. Money is hard to come by. Nice guys finish last. I can't trust anyone. Each of these beliefs is a closed hand gripping the flow. Your fear-based emotions are pure resistance. Fear of losing, fear of not succeeding, fear of being deceived. As long as fear is in command, you can't let go. Your communication of scarcity is a form of resistance. Every time you say, I don't have money, times are tough, it's not going to work out. You're reinforcing attachment to scarcity. You're telling the universe, hold everything back because there's nothing here. Your lack of action, or action driven by fear, is pure resistance. Not investing for fear of losing, not connecting for fear of suffering, not trying for fear of failing. Working on Becca is essentially learning to open your hands. It's letting go of what needs to be released so the new can arrive. I know you might have watched this video, agreed with everything, felt inspired, and tomorrow go back to the same patterns. Not because you're weak, but because reprogramming doesn't happen from a video. It happens with consistency, with knowledge, with practice, with support, with an environment that holds you while you change. If what I shared today made sense to you, the next step is to start applying it. And I'll see you in the next video.